How is it okay that I can talk out loud to somebody else, but I can't talk out loud to myself? You know, they tell you if you talk out loud to yourself, you're a lunatic, a nut job. Psychiatry says, oh, you've got issues, you have an address, you got mommy, daddy issues. It's all garbage. You know, when you talk to yourself out loud, what you're actually doing, it's a soothing mechanism. You know, you're actually speaking with your angels and your guides and your guardians because you have so much to say, you want to just say it out loud, you know? And there's nothing wrong with it. Why is it okay for me to talk out loud to another person, but if I'm by myself, I can't talk out loud to myself? Think about it for a minute. Just to think about the lunacy of how this world is wired. It's so upside down and backward, it isn't even funny. Like, I give you an example. I did a video. You're born naked, but if I walk down the street naked, I will get arrested for indecent exposure. Why is that? Why is that? I can go to the beach wearing a Speedo, which is basically like a thread of dental floss across my midsection, right? And that's socially acceptable. But if I wear boxers that go above my navel to almost my kneecaps, since they're underwear, I can get arrested. And it's covering 100,000 times more flesh than that Speedo bathing suit. Do you see what I'm saying? A woman can wear a bathing suit that looks absolutely like dental floss. But if she goes outside in a bra and panties, everybody's like, oh my God. And the bra and the panties is covering more flesh, by the way. You see how people are wired? Give you another example. Where does French fries come from? Potatoes. Okay, so when you put ketchup on French fries, everybody's like, yeah, that's cool. But if I were to bake a potato and put ketchup on it, they're like, what's wrong with you? You're sick. You're a nut job. You see, I could make a video like this forever, forever. I can pull things from society, you know, that are so backward and upside down that you accept as normal. That's why your life is so messed up, and you don't even realize it. That you're so screwed up in your head because of what they've done to you. If you see somebody take a baked potato and put ketchup on it, you're like, oh my God, he's a nut. But if you order French fries and put ketchup on it, that's normal. What is normal anyway? By the way, what is normal? Normal is imaginary. You should refer to that term as imaginary, not the power of your soul as something that is imaginary. They've got your head wired backwards and upside down, and you don't even realize it. That's why you have such a problem manifesting things, because you're trapped in the lunacy of this psycho circus, this insane asylum of madness run by sociopaths. They have your head spinning. Psychiatry and psychology were created in the late 1800s to explain the human condition, which is probably about 4 million years old. So you have to be able to differentiate what's going on and see the monumentally unfathomable discrepancies. All you have to do is extrapolate the information in juxtaposition to the truth, and you'll see these things don't add up. Absolutely not. Exponentially, unilaterally, they don't add up. It's okay for me to have a conversation with somebody else and talk out loud. By the way, I can speak telepathically. You all can, but you haven't been trained or motivated to realize that truth. But nonetheless, I can't talk out loud to myself because he's a nut job. What is wrong with him? I think he's losing his mind. I don't understand that. I think he's one nail short of an actually a completed house. I don't know what's going on here. I think he's losing his marbles. You know. Think about it for a minute. Why is it okay to have a conversation out loud with somebody else, but I can't have one with myself? How does that make somebody crazy? It doesn't. They just make it up. That's why I try to stress to you, the viewer, you're being lied to. Like all these animal experts, the dog whisperer, the mule whisperer, the skunk whisperer. What is the skunk doing, mister? Oh, since he's wagging his tail and rolling his eyes, this means he's happy and this and that. They don't know a freaking thing. You think, who speaks dog? Unless you're speaking with the animal telepathically and you're actually getting the 411 from the animal itself directly, all that other stuff is made up. Do you know what a finch says when they're speaking to each other? Or parakeets? Or cardinals? Or blue jays? Or crows? Or ravens? Or hawks? I mean, do you? When they go, caw, caw, do you know what they're saying? Do you know the communication? Do you speak that language? You do not. There's no human that speaks the language of the elements or of Mother Nature, unless you're telepathic and you can communicate with them and the animal chooses to communicate with you. Other than that, you have no clue what they're doing. But people come up and like, I'll tell you what this means, because we're the experts. Experts at what? Experts at lying. And it's the same thing with this topic of this video here before I end it. Why is it okay to do one thing but not another? If I want to walk around my house naked, that's okay, but I can't walk outside naked because I'll get locked up. Why is that? But I'm born naked. God doesn't make mistakes. Underneath your clothes, you're always naked. You can't hide that. You're always naked underneath your clothes. These things they're like barriers. That's why they get you to wear shoes, socks, and walk on paved roads. That's a triple layer barrier that prevents you from making physical contact with the earth. Try it. Go walk barefoot on grass and you'll see the difference of the energy. Go walk barefoot on the beach and you'll see the difference in the energy as opposed to you walking with boots, socks on a paved road. That's a triple barrier right there. Triple layer barrier, preventing you from making contact with the energy of the earth. 440 hertz knocks you out of alignment with the earth. Wearing shoes and socks on paved road knocks you out of alignment with the earth. Always staying in your house, focusing on electronic devices knocks you out of alignment with the earth because you're hooked into something synthetic and something artificial and mechanical. And you're being saturated with that energy. But anyway, the point of this video is that you're just trained to believe something that's not true. And you just go with it because everybody else is, because you're social. And you're like, oh, okay, if that's the way, it's going to be fine. And like they try to pull a thing, you can't say mom and dad. You can't say grandmother and grandfather. We have to address bisexual men as women. No, we don't, because you're not a woman and you're never going to be. I've already proved it. The skull, the pelvic bone, the femur, the tibia, the thigh bone, fingers and shoulders prove that you're not what you think you are. Anatomically, biologically, physically, genetically, you are what you are gender-wise. Like it or not, here comes the truth. Irregardless of what TikTok is telling you. What's the difference between TikTok and psychiatrists? Nothing. They're all coming from the same hub. It's the same organization controlling all of the lies. So it's okay to talk out loud to yourself. Who cares what they think? As long as it makes you feel good and it's soothing and it's healing to you, do it. You have to get yourself to a place where I am. When it comes to people, what they think about you is worth less than a pile of dry dog poop. Now, I'm not going to use the S word because I don't curse, but that is the freaking truth. Get to that point and you're good to go. I'm straight telling you. Because what people think is irrelevant. They're just background objects is all they are. They can't even think for themselves, man. So why would you care what they think about you when they can't even think for themselves? That speaks volumes. I've said this before because it bears repeating. Absolutely. You just got to get over that hump that you're just existing to people please. And you're never going to win that race. You're never going to win that contest. It's like, oh, am I good enough? Am I good, better? Good? Do you approve of me? Do you accept me? Who cares? Who cares what they think? They can't even think for themselves. So anyway, if it feels good to you, as long as you're not physically hurting yourself or emotionally hurting yourself or others, then do it. You want to talk out loud to yourself with people around or out in the backyard? Do it. Who cares? Who cares? This world is wired in such a way they want to subjugate every aspect of your freedom, your liberty. They want to take all of it away. That's why they're edging you towards communism. That's why they're slowly edging you towards communism. See, you understand, fascism is the gateway to socialism, which is the doorway to communism. See, they inch it very close, very small. Oh, it comes in very small increments, imperceivable. But you'll find yourself in an internment camp or a FEMA camp waiting online for a food pellet. And going, as long as I have my TikTok, I don't care. And that's where they want to bring everybody. That's why they want to patiently wait for the older generations that are older than myself, plus me, to die out. Then what do you have left? You have these mindless millennials that have been raised on cell phones and internet and TikTok. And then that's a turkey shoot right there. That's like shooting fish in a barrel. Because these kids have no semblance of what history is. They have no comprehension of what other generations who had to go to fight to defend this country, because they didn't. They don't have any sense of what that is. There was a sign on the wall in Vietnam that says, "For those who have fought for it, freedom possesses a certain flavor that the sheltered shall never know." Let me say that again before I end the video. For those who have fought for it, freedom possesses a certain flavor that the sheltered shall never know. And all of these kids are sheltered. They have this disgusting sense of entitlement, like the world owes them this gigantic living, and they don't do anything. That's what this cult is conditioning this society to become. This euphemistic conditioning that you can't speak the truth. You can't tell somebody something. That's why they let these criminals get away literally with murder. I remember a couple of years ago on video, these grocery stores and these drugstores, you could see these criminals coming in, wiping out the whole freaking store right on camera. There was not one cop called. The moment somebody walked into that store without a mask, you have 90 cops jumping on them like they were going to blow up the world. And I was like, look at this. That's exactly where they want to take it. They want to reward criminals and punish good people and good Samaritans, conditioning you to think that doing good is a bad thing, so therefore I don't want to do it. And that's what you see that's what you have here before you. Absolutely. I remember there's a commercial still going on. I think it's a cat commercial. The mom is sitting on the couch and she hears her daughter from the distance, "Mom, I fell." And the mother just stoic. She's like, "Okay, honey, this and that." And then the little girl says from a distance, "Mom, I'm bleeding." And the mother doesn't even react. She's cold, she's stoic, lifeless. She's like, "Well, go in the cabinet and get a bandage." Now, you don't understand what they're doing with that type of commercial. It's a cat food commercial. And the mother's sitting on the couch with the cat, and the little daughter is, you never see the little daughter, you just hear her voice off from a distance. What they're trying to condition you to become is stoic like them. To say that if somebody's hurt, don't move, don't react, be dehumanized. That's exactly what they're doing. I'll give you another example. There was a Saturday Night Live skit with a bunch of crayons. And there was a purple crayon dancing, "I'm happy in love," and this and that. All of a sudden from the side, a black crayon comes out with a taser, tases the purple crayon right in the neck, boom, drops him like a bag of dirt. And everybody in the audience was laughing. But you don't realize what they're doing to you subliminally. They're conditioning you to accept this as normal, that you laugh about it, because they don't want you to be human. They want you to be inhuman, inhumane, dehumanized, desensitized. That's what they're doing to you with this media. It's hypnotizing you to say, you have to desensitize. Get rid of your heart. Be cold-blooded killers like us. That's exactly what they're trying to do. And since people don't know any better, their children, they follow. If you don't believe me, you go look it up. Saturday Night Live skit with crayons. The purple guy, he's dancing, loving, "I love life and peace and happiness." And the black crayon comes in from the left side of the screen with a taser right to his neck. Boom! And there's no coincidence that it was a black crayon. They always want you to associate black with evil. That's why black folks are treated like garbage, if you haven't figured it out. Black folks have been ostracized, not just black folks. I mean, when Chinese people came here, they were slaves. They were beaten and killed. The indigenous, white people. I know this is going to sound real crazy to you, but there's more white slaves in the world than there are black slaves. Do your history, do your research, because what they told you about slavery was a lie. It was a straight lie. Roots never happened. Alex Haley was a liar, and he got busted for it. There was no Kunta Kinte and Toby. That never happened. That was a made-up story. And by the way, if you know your history, when those slave ships landed on shore on Africa, what they actually did was they recruited black tribes to go and capture other black tribes for money. And even to this day, how they pay the debt is they take a child, and that child is a lifelong slave to the leader of one of those tribes. Then plus you have genital mutilations, and you have grown men in Africa sleeping with newborn infants, believing that will rid them of the AIDS virus. So do your history. I mean, do your research, because it is just that. History is his story. It never happened. It's a lie. I'm not saying that slavery never happened. It just didn't happen the way they told you. You do your proper research and you'll understand what's really going on. White men came to Africa and enslaved the black men. Didn't happen like that. Didn't happen like that at all. Besides, I've already made a video. It is a statistical fact that more black deaths are attributed to black-on-black violence than anything else. And BLM will never tout that in their narrative because they can't afford for the real truth to get out. It doesn't work in their favor, a part of their propaganda, because it isn't incorporated in their agenda to do so. So you've been lied to from day one. And talking to yourself out loud is just another one of many things. They tell you, do this, you can't do that, and you're afraid because you think there's consequences. But anyway, I'm going to cut the video. You, my friend, have a peaceful and loving day. You are wonderful. You are marvelous. You are extraordinary. You are the greatest miracle that you have sadly been searching outside yourself for. When you realize that, that's when your whole life will turn around for the better. God bless.